this is Dave with NTI Online, and today I'm going to walk you through removing or replacing the plate exchanger on your TX combi or your FTV combi. Both units share the same plate heat exchanger assembly, so the removal process will be the same. You'll want to start by draining the product down on both the domestic water side and on the boiler water side. I would recommend that when you're draining the boiler side, that you turn the power on and off several times. That will actuate the internal diverting valve, just to make sure that as much water is drained out of the boiler as possible. You don't want to get that plate off and find that the diverting valve was holding, a half a gallon of water inside the pressure vessel. Once you've done that, which this unit is already drained down, we're going to open up the cabinet. The door will swing off to the side. Just watch this if you're working down below it. I've bashed my head on that a couple of times. So you want to make sure that stays swung back and look out before you lift your head. In the back here is the plate exchanger. It's held in place with only 2 screws. And depending on the tools you have at your disposal, you may or may not want to remove the gas valve. I'm going to assume that for today, you have the same sort of tool set that I've got here, and it makes accessing this right-hand screw a little bit difficult. It is certainly possible to do this without disconnecting the gas valve. However, for simplicity, I'm going to just move it out of my way and it'll make the video a bit more clear. To do that, you're going to need a Torx 25 screwdriver. We're going to take the 2 screws out. And if you have an application like mine and I've got a flexible connector on the gas line, you can just move this out of your way just to get that little bit of extra play. If yours is rigidly piped, you'll want to break the union and remove the gas nipple from the bottom of the valve. And again, if you have tools like a small Allen key that'll get in the back, you can do this without doing it this way. It just makes it a bit easier potentially. So now that I've got that moved, let's pull the line off. I'm going to remove the 2 screws that hold my plate heat exchanger in. The proper connection is a 4mm Allen or 4mm hex. In a pinch, a Torx T25 will also work, which happens to be the same one that is used for the valve. The screws are on the bottom right and bottom left. So you just want to get in there and remove both screws. They're a little snug from the factory. Keep in mind that no matter what, you're going to get a small amount of water come out of here. It should just drip into the cabinet, not do any harm. However, you may want to put some paper towel around the electrical connections and just watch out for anything that might be below the boiler that could get dripped on. So that's our first screw out. Off on the other side, underneath this diverting valve motor, and if you want, you can remove the valve, just lift it up and pull it out of your way. It's not really in my way, but it might make it easier to see the screw you're looking for. Okay, I've got my other screw out. Let's retrieve my screwdriver bit. So now that I've removed the 2 screws that hold the plate in, I'm going to push it towards the rear of the boiler and slide it up and out, and it does require a little bit of fiddling with. So you grab this, you push it straight back, sort of twist it up, and you have to twist it away from the back of the boiler just a little. It can be a little difficult to fish out. There's 1 screw that's coming through the back of the boiler that sits in this recessed area. So when you go to remove it, you just twist it slightly so you can get it up over that screw. And when you go to reinstall it, you're going to do the same. So that screw is facing this way from the back of the boiler, and it's going to sit inside this recessed area. If you don't know that's there and you can't see it, it makes this a rather difficult job. Once you know it's there and you can account for it, you sort of feel it with your finger, slide this over it, and then there's plenty of space to get this back in. So we're going to put this back in now. When you remove the plate exchanger, these are a directional component. There's a slightly longer and a slightly shorter side next to these nut inserts. You want to make sure that the short side goes to the left of your boiler. If you're not sure, there's a plastic tab that sticks out the back of the IWC here, and I'm just going to assemble this and show you what it looks like. You can see the plastic tab sits just over the lip of the plate exchanger. If you were to try and stick this in backwards, what would happen is you would butt up against this and you'd have a lot of trouble tightening up this screw. So make sure that you put the short side to the left when you go to reassemble. So the 4 gaskets that I was referencing are these 4 here. When it's out of the boiler, obviously it's easy to see, and they just push into these holes. And again, a little bit of grease can help hold them in place when you're taking apart and reassembling your boiler. Okay, once we pull that forward, I can feel that the 2 screw bosses have engaged. It's not a bad idea just to push it back straight one more time. Run your finger in there, make sure all 4 gaskets are in place. You are doing this somewhat blind in the back, so if you knock a gasket out, you won't know until you fill it with water. So do a double check now, then put the screws in. So now that I'm confident all the gaskets are there, I've pulled the plate tight to the front. I'm going to loosely reinstall both screws and then snug them both down. Just put some tension on the plate so that it doesn't get pushed out by the screw. Okay, once I feel that's grabbed, I'm going to loosely install the second screw and then tighten them both back up. Little flashlight, something like what's on your phone, is good to find that second screw. It is kind of hidden down in there. We'll tighten that one back up. Now the plate's back in, we can reinstall our gas valve. When you're tightening these down, remember they are sealed by a gasket. You're going to feel the gasket compress as you tighten the screw. Once the screw becomes, you'll notice it gets very stiff all of a sudden. Once that happens, you've fully compressed the gasket. Tightening it any more beyond that just runs the risk of breaking something. So you're going to have to do this by feel, but you're going to snug it up. Once the screwdriver gets very stiff, stop turning. Any more than that will tend to want to crack the plastic. Now that we have this button back up, you want to refill your boiler. It's important that when you refill it, that you don't, on the domestic water side, just turn the cold water back on. That can actually damage the flow sensor in the boiler. What you want to do when you fill this is you're going to open the hot water fixtures, slowly open the cold water for the domestic to allow it to fill the boiler and fill the hot water lines with water. Once that's done, you can then close the hot water taps and reintroduce water into the boiler. You can, of course, introduce water into the boiler first. The main concern is that when you fill the domestic side, you want to do it slowly and do it with the hot water taps open. Potentially filling it too fast can destroy the flow switch in the boiler, creating a problem that you will have to fix. If for some reason you have to replace the flow sensor, see our video on replacing the flow sensor. And other than that, I thank you for watching. This is Dave with NTI Online. If you have any questions, give us a call, 800-688-2575. Thanks for watching the video today. If you'd like to check out more videos, see the link below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for all the future updates. And also check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.